Have you ever felt like you've kind of put yourself in a place where you have a million walls up, or maybe just one layer of walls, or part of a wall, or you just kind of hid yourself in this big cage? And I call it the cage. But have you ever felt caged in where you can't move, you can't breathe because somebody has come at you at every corner, every angle? And so every time they come at you, you put up a wall this way, and they come at you another way, and you put up a wall this way, and you put up a wall back here because they come from that angle, and you put up this wall around you, and now you're inside this cage, and all you can hear now is just some mumbling and blumbling from that person, and you feel super alone, super frustrated, all these feelings flowing through you, many, many feelings going through your heart, going through your mind, where you just feel cut off from that other person who you should be the most connected to. If you've ever felt like that or you're feeling like that, it's okay. You're not alone. And it's fixable. It's very fixable, actually. Usually this happens, I call it the cage. People get caged in themselves or in a relationship due to outside factors. And it's a really terrible place to be. Very unsafe. But it usually comes from an event where someone has tried to talk to you to maybe prove something to you, or you really need to understand what I'm telling you. You got to understand this. And you're like, I feel differently, or I'm not really understanding it, or they push you in a corner. So what happens is you put up a wall, and that wall comes up. And then since they didn't get through to you that way, they'll come over this way, and they'll come around the corner and start pounding at you again about what they're trying to say to you, and you're not getting what I'm trying to say to you, and they're pounding it again. So another wall comes up, and then they go around to this side and that side, and pretty soon you're in a relationship where you're sitting inside of a cage, and it's not good. It's unhealthy. You've been there for maybe months, maybe years. It's affecting your relationship severely. It's a bad place to be. But the great thing is, it's very fixable. And you're not alone, trust me. There are many, many people who do this, or it happens to, and they find themselves in this situation. So when you find yourself there, I just want you to just hear me out for a minute, because I might be able to give you a couple of tips to help you. And if you're there because you've walked away a relationship or a friendship or whatever you're in, and you're still there, this is an easy fix. We can take down those barriers, because most people don't step out and walk away, but let me rephrase that. If you walk away from a situation from who or whatever caused that, you're probably going to carry that. And it's not going to go away on its own. It just doesn't disappear magically one day. You're still going to walk away, and you're going to have those feelings and thoughts, and you're going to feel caged in. You're going to have all this stuff going on inside you. So a really unhealthy thing. What do we do when we find ourselves in that situation, feeling alone, feeling caged in? He just beats me about everything. Just verbally, he doesn't want me to, I feel like he doesn't want me to breathe, or I'm going to do it wrong. Or he doesn't think I understand what he's trying to say, or whatever it is. Or she doesn't get it. She don't get it. And she's trying to do all these things to talk to me, or to try to get me to understand more, and I don't. Or it drives me crazy, but when she does this, so I'm putting up walls, whatever. Him, her, makes no difference. It happens both directions. Actually, pretty similarly. But it usually is caused from somebody coming at you. And this is something that I will say more than once. You'll hear me say, very possibly, as I say all the time, but I really will. We'll probably do a video on it. In a relationship, we want to come to each other. We don't want to come at each other. I'm going to say that again. When you're in a relationship, and I might say a good or a healthy relationship, you come to each other. You come to one another. You don't come at one another. We're not attacking each other. We shouldn't be anyways. And this is not an attack zone. This is a let's talk and let's love and let's connect zone. That's where we should be. But when that connection is not happening, and it's the opposite, it can be an attack zone. It can be a fighting zone. And we want to stay away from that. We want to stay connected in a good spot. We don't want to have to throw up walls because we're sick of what the other person is telling us or doing to us. That is a big, bad place to be, because it has ended many, many relationships because that person has just walked away and said, I'm not living like this, and just walked. The great thing about it is if you are alone and you're out of the relationship, still wearing it, there's help. We can get those down. And the great thing of it is, there's actually help if you're inside the relationship and you feel like you're inside those walls, you're inside the cage. If you got the cage syndrome and both people are willing to make this work and willing to really put the work in to change this and get those walls down and have a super connected relationship, great, because it's super fixable. Super fixable. What happens is most of the time is the wall goes up because we all want to feel safe. And the wall goes up because that becomes our safe zone. And so we make this zone around ourselves. We don't go out of it. We don't go out of it. We stay right in that safe zone. We don't budge. Nope. Not up for conversation, not up for debate. It's not going anywhere. This is my safe place. And unfortunately, it becomes someone's safe place, which it shouldn't have to be, because it's a very unhealthy place. So if you're in the cage, I'm going to chat with you a little bit about this and see if we can help you and give you some skills on a few things that might help you to break those walls down. If you're with a partner who's willing to work with you and help you do this, please both of you pay attention, because this is really a very fixable thing. And at the end, great stuff happens. You're going to find a lot of safety out of this and a lot of connection. And that's what we want. We want to be safe and come out of it and feel connected. Just think of it for a minute. Most animals don't come out of their safe place until they feel safe. And we don't think with an animal brain, and we got enough common sense not to come out if it's not safe. If we're tired of hearing it, or whatever it is that's caused it, we're not going to come out until it's safe. So we have to let the other person know that, hey, here's what's going on, and I feel like I'm caged in. And then we got to work with both people to go, okay, what are we going to do to uncage this? Well, we're going to start by understanding that at this point, we feel the person in the cage feels unsafe. They feel possibly resentment. I'm going to go through 4 or 5 things, but we could talk about 50 things. There's resentment there. That's got to be addressed. The safety issue we talked about, they got to feel safe, because right now they're feeling very unsafe. They feel threatened. Feeling threatened is a terrible feeling. They just feel threatened in every way. They just don't know how to not feel threatened by this. They feel unimportant. This is a big one, because everybody wants to be important. That's every human being wants to be important. So feeling unimportant is really a terrible place to be. So we got to get you in a space that you feel, I will say, important and validated. I'll add that in there. We have to get you to a place where you feel connected. And connection and safety really work hand in glove a lot of times, most of the time, because when you feel safe, you feel connected. When you feel connected, you feel safe. So many things work hand in glove: vulnerability, safety, validation. There's a lot of things that really are all tied together in this one big piece. So when you feel one, you kind of get the other one with it. That's kind of the beauty of it. One thing that many people feel when they get in the cage and they're locked in there pretty hard is they feel hopeless. They feel hopeless because they don't see a way out. That's where we don't want to go, for sure. There is a way out. I promise you. There is such a way out, and it's not that hard. So that feeling of hopelessness, they sit in there, and I just want you to picture this. Someone feeling like they're in a cage. They got even maybe some extra layers there against the cage. They can hear what's going outside with the other person, but they kind of put their finger in their ears a lot because they don't want to hear it. If it gets too loud or too much, and then when it's gone, they can take their finger out of their ears, and they can kind of just enjoy the peacefulness and the quiet for a minute. But they still feel all these feelings, the resentment. They feel threatened. They may feel unimportant, important to nobody. And especially they want to feel important to their other person in the relationship. They want to feel connected. They want to be validated. They don't want to feel hopeless. Hopeless sometimes can mean an ending, and we certainly don't want to do that or go there. So if you feel that and you're there, stop it, and know that there's help. And I'm here to help you. This is fixable. Know that this is fixable. I would tell you a few things. Pick yourself up, break the walls down, pick yourself up, and this is what you're going to do to start. These are just going to be the starting of the busting it down. This is going to be the sledgehammer, and the saw is self-love. When you start loving yourself, now I'm going to remind you this. This can be with someone else. This can be with your partner, trying to get you out of this cage. Hopefully your partner can be a great help for you. If they're the one that caused it, we're going to to change them around to the person who is going to help you take it down and help you feel safe and connected with them. That's what we're going to do. This person is going to have some things to change. And I tell people all the time, I'm not here to change people for sure. I don't want to change people, but I'm here to help you change behavior. And even if someone has caused that, who may be a loved one, a spouse, they can change the behavior. So we're going to let them work on them and change the behavior to where you can feel safer and have these walls fall down and disappear. They can have a hand in this, and they can have a great hand in it. And it's great when you watch people change behavior. And sometimes a lot of couples have no clue. The other person has no clue that they have done what they've done, and that you feel like you're living in a cage. They don't have a clue because you're too scared and threatened to even tell them. So many people are in a relationship where the other person honestly has no clue that they have contributed to this cage that's around you, and you feel threatened, hopeless. You feel unimportant. They have no clue. So please understand this. Now, I'll change gears just for a second. If someone has purposely done this to you so they can control you, and it's become an abuse, you need to go, leave, get out. Abuse is never tolerated, and you need to go. And you can trust me, you can get rid of that cage around you, but not there with that person. You need to get out. Abuse is always, it's an automatic exit in my book. So if it's not abuse, the person may not have a clue what's happened, how you're feeling. And that's something that we open up. We open up that whole array, that whole box of what's happening, what's going on, and we start sharing feelings. And this becomes a very tender moment and very connecting time as we start to lay those walls down and allow you some safety. We're going to have you on your part give yourself some self-love, give yourself some mercy, give yourself some forgiveness, give yourself some grace. More than anything, I want you to really look inside yourself and start loving yourself again, because one of the things that does happen is that a lot of self-love is gone because they feel unimportant anymore. They don't feel important to anyone. They feel hopeless. So all that grace, self-love just sort of goes out the back door. So I want you to regain that. I want you to pull that back in. I want you to surround yourself with self-love. I want you to surround yourself with tons of grace, tons of mercy. I want you to pound that and smudge yourself in it, pound it all over yourself and cover yourself in grace and mercy and tenderness for you, for yourself. This is huge. And know that being kind to yourself and giving yourself grace, that this is fixable. And together with that other person or alone, we're going to take the walls down. We're going to bust those walls, promise you. Happens all the time. Many times this happens in relationships where maybe one person has a very dominant personality, the other person has a very non-dominant personality. But many times it happens innocently, and that dominant person doesn't really know that this has happened. So we got to let them know, and we got to fix. Got to go to work. And guess what? It's fixable. And it can be repaired. That's what I want you to know. This is repairable. If you're in the cage, and I call it the cage syndrome, if you got the cage syndrome, you're inside that. Just know as you sit there, as you feel unloved, threatened, unsafe, all these things, that you can get rid of all that, and you can actually get out, break the walls, and you can feel connected and safe once again. It's there. It's there. There's just a few things you got to do. But know that there's light at the end of this tunnel for sure. It's there for you. But that's the cage syndrome. It's something that's a terrible thing when this happens to people, but happens way too often. Trust me, if you're in this situation, please reach out to me, or please use some of the things I've talked to you about to help yourself. But know that you're not alone, and it is very fixable. That's what I want you to know. Have you ever felt like